probably think, oh, Germany's realised they have the coal.
So guys, I made it down here. It's kind of surreal, and it's hard to imagine this day has actually arrived. The first, no announcement has been made yet, but the first announcement, we'll know that she has died once we see a footman leave the gates of the palace and attach a crepe right to the centre of the gates you see there, as is protocol. Obviously, it can take anything for 3 hours to announce to the public. The Prime Minister is informed first, and all the heads of state of the Commonwealth. All senior officials, all members of the royal family will be informed first before the public. So the death of the Duke of Edinburgh took 3 to 4 hours to announce his death to the public, so presumably the Queen may already be dead. We will be listing the protocol for Operation London Bridge, even though we believe, because it's now in Balmoral, there is a new name for it. The Queen is to be transported by train, it is believed, into King's Cross Station, and she'll be met there by the Prime Minister. If it's not possible to transport her via train, they will fly her down to London. But as you can see, the crowds are gathering for what seems will be the imminent announcement. A very somber day. I mean, we all know she's 96 and has reigned for 70 years. Everybody knew this day was coming. However, it seems so surreal that it's actually here. Operation Unicorn is the code name if she died at Balmoral, which seems to be the case, or if she does die. In the next 10 minutes after the announcement is actually made to the world's press, all the flags will be flown at half-mast within 10 minutes from the palace, and also on Whitehall, all governmental buildings. Feels a bit premature just yet, but it just feels like it is imminent. So we're waiting for a footman to come out from the palace and leave his crepe and the official announcement on the gates of Buckingham Palace. And the world's media are down here as well, of course. So I will keep you posted on what occurs. I'll probably live stream when it does occur. It's a tough one, not quite sure what to say. I mean, she's kind of like the granny of everyone, isn't she, really? Let's be honest. Nobody's known any other queen in their lifetime, except for the fortunate few that are alive beyond the age of 70, may have remembered her grandfather, King George V, and her father, King George VI, who died in 1952. So these are the crowds that are assembling, you guys. All here.
It's the same deal with like supermarkets.
I mean, we wish her well, and we hope it's not going to be as serious as we expect. But we expect also we should have an announcement shortly, possibly. And if that announcement's to be made, it'll be made here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm at the palace. They've just lowered the flag to half-mast, and we expect the footman will arrive shortly to make the official announcement to the public that Her Majesty the Queen has passed away. If the flag is at half-mast, folks, this will be the next informing the public that she's dead. What a somber day. I'm a bit lost for words. I'm quite speechless. I'm just waiting for the official announcement. The footman will be due to arrive. If you can just see. It's okay. I'm there as well.
Avec son Majesty.
He's there of disbelief and sadness. We're waiting for the official announcement by the footman, who will shortly bring the crepe to make it a public official announcement.
There, let's zoom in there.
Zoom in the speaker.
You can see just a bit of movement. Just waiting on the footman to make his official announcement. Some people are moving in that direction, possibly. That would break up protocol. They'd usually have it on the front gate, so I'm surprised he may come from the entrance the Queen uses for the palace. So we know she occupies 8 out of 775 rooms.
Why are they all moving over there? They all seem to be moving.
This is where we believe now they're making this statement. We'll move over here. Let's go and see, folks. It's just hard to imagine this is actually happening. I don't quite know what to say at first. I'm lost for words. We do know it's been announced that Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II has died. This is absolutely surreal. I cannot imagine that this day would ever come. Yet here we are. There's just disbelief everywhere.
Je peux te laisser les casques, je peux pas faire de si je suis au téléphone. Je te rappellerai.
I have been trying to go live, ladies and gents, but there is stunned silence around here and it just doesn't seem to work the stream. I know that one happened the last time with the funeral or with the Platinum Jubilee celebrations. My God, it only seems like yesterday we were here celebrating. That they cancelled any live streaming from around here. I will attempt again shortly. I just wanted to show you how somber it is around here. This is a real eerie kind of a silence more than anything, which is terrifying. People are just stunned. I mean, I know it's not entirely unexpected. She was 96, but at the end of the day, nobody ever expected this day to come. You'll see the world's press are all over here, folks. Yes, I'm going to have to go ahead with a video, you guys, and just show you the outpouring of emotion that's here. People are just standing here in complete silence. This is the palace, and this is the day nobody ever expected would come. A dark cloud looms over the palace gates, and there is the flag at half-mast, folks. I cannot believe all the press are here. We're just going to have a little walk around and see. People just don't quite know what to do. They're just stunned, I think, more than anything. I'm terribly sorry about the live stream, but as you'll know from other events, you guys, I think the internet, they do drop the internet for security purposes. I feel like these guys are waiting for the footman to arrive and post the notice of the death of Her Majesty the Queen. Now, I can't give you updates on how she died or anything because I've been down here since about 10 to 6 and I've just met, like, everyone is just down here. This is history, witnessing history. A record-breaking monarch. And I'm born here in Mayfair, ladies and gents, on the 21st of April 1926 at 16 Bruton Street. Now, you will see on my Mayfair video I feature where the Queen was born. The first daughter of the Duke and Duchess of York at the time, and she was baptized in a private chapel in Buckingham Palace by the Archbishop of York. His name was Cosmo Gordon Long on the 29th of May. Her only sibling, which was Princess Margaret Rose, was born in 1960. Oh, my apologies, she was born in 1930. I will get mistakes today, folks, because I just can't quite believe this is really happening. So both of them educated, Princess Margaret and the future Queen, Princess Elizabeth. They were home educated with the supervision of their mother, and their governess at the time was Marion Crawford. As a 2-year-old girl, she even showed like spirited guidance features, if you like. Winston Churchill described her as a character. He is quoted as saying she has an air of authority and reflectiveness astonishing as an infant. So during her grandfather's reign, she was third in line to the throne, but of course never suspected to ascend the throne. Her father was King George VI, the second son to King George V, and he died in 1936, but it was her uncle, King Edward VIII, who ascended. Very controversial monarch, of course. He fell in love with a very controversial American divorcee by the name of Wallis Simpson. And a crisis in 1936, the abdication crisis that took place in December 1936, and her abdication, that abdication speech, changed the Queen's life forever. Because on that very day she became heir apparent, because her father then became king. King George VI, a remarkable king. He was the king during the bombing campaign in World War II. And when monarchs were fleeing persecution from Adolf Hitler all over mainland Europe, King George VI refused to leave Buckingham Palace. He said he was going to ride it out with the British public. Now, King George VI did attempt to send Princess Margaret and Elizabeth to Canada, but the Queen Mother refused at the time. She said, the children will not leave me, I will not leave the King, and the King certainly won't leave. So for that period of the bombing campaign in World War II, she was kept. She stayed for a period of time in Balmoral, then she was moved around Christmas in 1939. She was moved down to Sandringham. And from there, they stayed at Windsor Cottage for a period of time, but for 5 years of her reign, when she was a young girl during the bombing campaign of World War II, she remained with her sister Princess Margaret at Windsor Castle. Well, Windsor Castle, I recently visited, folks, and I was very, very lucky to see, because they used to stage pantomimes at Christmas, and they dressed up to entertain and for charity during the bombing campaign. And I was very fortunate when I did visit Windsor, you'll see it on my Windsor video, that they had the costumes for the pantomime, the Princess's pantomime, at that exhibit. So just make sure to check out the Windsor video. But she herself was instrumental during World War II, as were many of the women of World War II, instrumental in running the country when all the men were called to war. She actually, even at 14, she made her first radio broadcast for the BBC's Children's Hour, addressing children who had also been evacuated from the city during World War II. She herself trained as a mechanic and a driver. She was appointed as an honorary second subaltern in the Auxiliary Territorial Service, and her service number at the time was 230873. She trained as a driver and a mechanic, and she was given the rank of honorary junior commander at the time, actively participating with the other women during World War II. On Victory in Europe Day, there's a great story of her going to King George VI and the Queen Mother and asking them if she could attend the celebrations around Trafalgar Square and Whitehall, and they flat out denied her. But that didn't stop herself and Princess Margaret going out dressed incognito and joining the celebrations of Victory in Europe Day. She had quoted as saying she was absolutely terrified that she'd be recognized. I mean, the most two famous princesses in the world partying for Victory in Europe Day on Whitehall. People are being interviewed, people are absolutely devastated. So she herself became queen in 1952. She was heading on a tour of South Africa and New Zealand and Australia with her husband Prince Philip. And en route, they took a trip to Kenya. In 1952, her father died. Prince Philip announced that to the Queen whilst on their vacation. She became the Queen. Very young girl. In her lifetime, she has met every American president dating back to Eisenhower. The only one she never met was Lyndon B. Johnson. She has served under 15 prime ministers have come and go, and in fact, that prime minister was only yesterday that she formed a new government, accepted the resignation of Boris Johnson and accepted Liz Truss as the new prime minister and offered her, or asked her to form a government. Going to take you around just to see silently the faces of people In 1947, her 21st birthday, she gave her first official speech to the British Commonwealth, effectively pledging her life to the service of her people and the British Commonwealth at 21 years of age. And she met Prince Philip. He was a distant cousin through Prince Albert. They became engaged on the 21st of July in 1947. No, she became engaged on the 9th of July at 21, my apologies, in 1947. And she was married in Westminster Abbey on the 20th of November, 1947. She gave birth to 2 children before she was actually crowned. And she gave birth to Prince Charles on the 14th of November 1948, Prince Anne the 15th of August 1950, Prince Andrew the 19th of February 1960, and Prince Edward the 10th of March 1964. So after their wedding, the couple leased a property on the Windsor estate for a period of time before moving to Clarence House in July 1949. I'm going to take you down here. People are starting to arrive with their flowers. I mean, just a remarkable reign. Who knew that she would last 70 years on the throne? I can't believe that we've just celebrated and did videos of 4 days of the Platinum Jubilee. And I just can't believe that this day has finally come. People are just stunned around the place. So that's a brief rundown of the history of her. Let me just show you what's happening around here. People are just going to flock to the palace in their thousands, folks. And all the world's media here. I will attempt to live stream again now shortly and see if it will come up. We'll get this video up as soon as possible and upload it, folks. Platinum Jubilee. I've been here for the Diamond Jubilee. I've attended 7. Trooping the colours. I mean, this is history in the making, folks. Absolutely incredible. You know, she was like everybody's granny, really, wasn't she? Everybody just feels so connected. Let me see if I can live stream again. Hi everyone, I'm so sorry I attempted to live stream down here. It's just not giving me any service, and I'm assuming the service has been cut as it was during the Platinum Jubilee celebrations. I am working on a video right now. I will get it uploaded tonight, but right now I just want to capture the atmosphere in the area on this very sad day for the United Kingdom, the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. It's quite surreal. There's a bit of a stunned silence down here, so leave it with me. I'll have something up to you tonight. Sorry about the live stream, it's completely out of my hands. See you soon. It's just people on the street absolutely gutted. It's tremendously sad, and everyone taking photos. People's faces are just, it's complete disbelief. Terribly, terribly sad day. And we're entering the era of a new king. King Charles III and his wife, Queen Camilla. Assuming that is the name he is taking, that is what we assumed it would be. If you're ever wondering why the monarchs can change their names, they can change them to their middle names. And he is Prince Charles Philip Arthur George. My apologies, he's not Prince Charles anymore. He is immediately now the king. King Charles III of England. Oh my God, what a day. Okay, so I want to have a look around for you. We're just going to take you over here to see the press. We will come back again, don't worry. Now, I will be giving you all the information I have with regards to what's going to happen in the next few days. Today's officially known as D-Day. Tomorrow will be D-Day 1. Then there's D-Day 2. We expect there'll be a gun salute soon for the Queen. King Charles, automatically has now become king. He's the new king. He himself, I'm assuming it will be D-Day 3, will be visiting, is required to visit the Parliament of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. There will be Her Majesty, the Queen, will be brought from Balmoral. We don't know yet, will she arrive by train or aeroplane? It will depend. But of course, when she does arrive, she will be greeted here by the Prime Minister. She will be laid in state for 3 days in Westminster Hall. They expect maybe the funeral, and this is just some articles I'm reading online, will be in about 10 days' time. I mean, it's just amazing to think this has happened. Look how eerie the sky is over. It's like dull and then there's a beautiful bright light. Maybe that's just the spiritual in me. Can't help but feel sorry for her family. A remarkable career. I mean, nobody in the world. It's so hard to embrace the fact that there will be a Britain without Queen Elizabeth II. In the end, it just happened so quickly. But you got to remember, yesterday, I'm pretty sure, no, it wasn't yesterday. Sorry, I'm a bit confused. Today is Thursday. So on Wednesday, she met. So she cannot have been well. She must have been in very poor health. And yet with the strength and dignity of what she served all her life, her commitment to her country, she met the incoming Prime Minister. That woman cannot have been well on Wednesday. And yet, country became before her health. Incredible to think that she, however bad she was feeling, she welcomed Theresa May and invited her to form a new government. That's just remarkable. I'm going to take a walk maybe around the buildings of Whitehall. I'll bring you down to Karen's house, but this is what's happening right now at Buckingham Palace. I'm just going to walk around and so you can soak up the mood in the area. We were waiting for that footman to come out. We haven't got that official crepe on the door yet. It's always there for any announcement, but when the flag went to half-mast, we just knew. I mean, everybody saw the flag going at half-mast before we got any news reports or anything at all. As you can see, the crowd is getting bigger and bigger. I'm standing on the Victoria Memorial. Just get an image over here. Press are everywhere, of course, photographers. Crepe is going to be, has it been put on the gate, I wonder? The last time I was here was for the Duke of Edinburgh's funeral. Well, the announcement for him, they had a line of people so they could actually just move the line so they could see that footman crepe that's on the gate. Oh yeah, they're going to assemble. See, already they're putting railings up that will be for crowd control, no doubt. Because everybody just wants to be here for the outpouring of sadness and grief in the area. So as per usual, the Prime Minister will be expected to make a statement immediately, and then King Charles will be addressing the nation. This is strict protocol, and her funeral has been prepared since the 1960s. King Charles will be making a statement in the next hour, and the Prime Minister has made a statement. I think he's making it presently. We will be following all events at all times, ladies and gents. Not to profiteer from it, but I just want to bring you down. I mean, you can watch Sky News, you can watch BBC, but I just want you to bring you down here just to see the people in Britain who have come here to pay their respects. And just feel like they need to be here, which is bizarre. All nationalities from all over the world, not just British. There's Italians, there's Spanish, there's Japanese, there's American, there's Canadian. I've heard accents from everywhere. I've heard Hebrew, heard Arabic. People are arriving now with their flowers, and we'll see tomorrow how many of them will. I mean, there will be a blanket, a sea of flowers here. Okay, so I'm going to take a walk down Whitehall very soon, folks, so I'll be right back. And for right now, this is Sinead at Buckingham Palace. And possibly the biggest event in history, the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. So we're just going to follow on and cross the road here. We might as well just get an idea of what's happening around the place, guys. So as you can see, all the press are here from all over the world. Now these are ones that didn't get the proper spot, which is usually right up here. Now, I kind of don't want to get on the news, so I'm going to hide myself.
Sorry.
It's all right. I'm going to go in around here. Even small things like ER now is going to be changed to CR on all the beefeater uniforms, the policemen's uniforms. All the currency will have to change, all the money, all the coins, all the stamps. So much is about to take place over the incoming next few weeks or so. Just the outpouring of people in the area, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger by the minute. I'm going to try and escape through here. Yeah, people forget about things that have to change, like CR2 will be replace these ERs. Obviously not all of them, they will keep some of them there. I'm walking along Green Park here. Everybody is all out, in the press. So these will be all the major news reporters here. CNN is here, ITN, ITV, Sky News. Been watching that all day, the BBC radio, LBC. This is just incredible. I know I keep saying it, it's just surreal, but I'm sure you guys feel the same. And I think that the connection that everybody has with her is that everybody just grew up with her. Even in Ireland, she was always in, like, regardless of whether you're pro or anti-monarchy, she was always in your living room, wasn't she? She was on your coffee table. She was in Hello magazine. She was in OK. So regardless of your pro or anti-stance, she was still the most famous woman in the world. And there was an era, I was very fortunate to have seen her maybe 5 times over the years, but one of my favourite memories of seeing the Queen was coming into Clarence House, and she was in the Phantom Rolls Royce with Prince Philip, and she was actually wearing the crown jewels. I will never forget it. And you see celebrities all the time in London, but this is a different realm of fame. This is the type of fame that the likes of Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt get intimidated by. So yeah, she was coming for some visit, I don't know. She was obviously leaving from Clarence House, but just amazing whenever you saw her. And here is all the press, you guys. I mean, people will interview people and they will find out, but look at the crowds that are forming. It's just incredible. It's a very gloomy, dreary day in London as well, which is really bizarre because we've had an incredible summer. The last few days have been just... It happened so suddenly, didn't it? You know, we hear at 12:30 today she wasn't well, which is unorthodox for them to comment on the Queen's health. So obviously they knew it was about to happen. Now the time of death I'm not sure of just yet. You probably know more about it right now, you guys, because you're watching all the news reports. I just wanted to show you what it's like being down here with the everyday people, as opposed to the journalists who will have exclusive access. Now we'll be covering all the events in the next few days. There will be an announcement. Charles will be formally announced as King Charles in St. James's Palace. I believe that will take place tomorrow. I think day 3 he goes on a tour of Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales, technically to meet his subjects, as it were. King Charles, I believe he's making an announcement very shortly on the television. But this arrangements for any funeral have been made since the 1960s, and they are revised twice a year, every year. So this event is planned, and there is strict protocol for what's to take place after this. We're clapping at the palace. What's happening over there? I probably shouldn't have left there just yet. I'm assuming that's probably the footman making the formal announcement on the gates. You have a lot of people singing God Save the Queen down there. I'm going to take you down to Parliament and around there, though. We're going to see Downing Street today. All the buildings will be at, all the government buildings. Of course, the flag will be at half-mast, as undoubtedly people from all over the world will be paying their respects. Now, we expect every king, prime minister, president, head of state, diplomat, ambassador will all be in London for the funeral. I mean, this is the biggest event in our lifetime, ladies and gents, and the history that we are going to witness in the next few days is just immense. It's hard to put into words how it feels to be around here, but there is a very bizarre silence, very respectful silence. It's the international media here and all the big media offices. Now thousands are coming. Thousands upon thousands are coming up the Mall. Let's have a look. Let's see what's happening here. Any of you that may have seen the Queen over the years, don't forget to post in the comment section your own personal story, so your private thoughts, etc. What you thought about the most famous woman in the world. In fact, the most famous woman in the history of Britain. The Elizabethan era is over, and we're heading into a new era. The era of King Charles. So just wanted you to get an idea. Look at the amount of people that are heading towards the palace, folks. This is just unbelievable. Now, I gave you a lot around the palace, so I just wanted to show you some other very important places that will be significant. Regretfully, what we will do is we will actually take just a little stroll down what the route of the Queen's coffin will take from Buckingham Palace down through down the Mall here, the red brick road known as the Mall. Everyone's come in with flowers. And it will head through Admiralty Arch. And then it will make its procession down Whitehall, the corridor of power, to Westminster Hall, which is the oldest part of the Palace of Westminster.
I'm actually too warm.
The Queen will be laid in state there for 3 days, and usually the public are allowed to pay their respects. But just to inform you, when the Queen Mother passed away and they paid their respects to her, it took 12 hours in a queue to get into where her coffin was inside Westminster Hall. I can't even begin to imagine how it's going to be for the Queen herself. And this is Clarence House, where Her Majesty the Queen lived with the Duke of Edinburgh. Right in here, the home of, now the present home of, wow, the now King Charles. I'm going to have to get used to saying that. And his wife, Queen Camilla. This is the London residence, usually of the Prince of Wales, or the future King or Queen. Now, whether or not that's going to upset the move from the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge to Windsor, but formally this would be officially their new address. And it's the white building here on the right behind the trees. It's a little difficult to see there, folks, but you can refer to my Westminster tour. And that tour, you even get a cheeky wave from the now King. Yeah, it's a weird one for me. I'm usually not stuck for words, but St. James's Palace is going to be very significant as well, and I'm going to show you that shortly. I'm going to head that direction because a lot of preparations will be underfoot for what's to come in the next few days. So I believe it's the Royal Council or the Royal Succession Council or the Privy Council. I know one of you are going to correct me on that, and I apologize if I got it wrong. I'm trying to remember everything that comes out. This is where he will formally be announced as the new king. And it's on the balcony of this very palace where we expect that famous announcement, "The Queen is dead, long live the King," will be made. The Queen is dead, long live the King. Can't believe I'm saying the Queen is dead. That's insane. Okay, so this is where they will make that announcement, coming up here. The most official, senior and royal working palace of them all, St. James's Palace. This palace was built by Henry VIII for his second wife, Anne Boleyn. Of course, she famously never saw its completion. As we know, Anne Boleyn had her head chopped off in the Tower of London. I believe it was 2 years prior to the completion of the palace here. And here is the courtyard of St. James's Palace, where that very famous statement will be made. Either tomorrow, I'm assuming it will be tomorrow, and it's said to be exceptionally bad luck for any future king or queen to witness this statement in person. So right here is where that announcement will be made, right on the balcony here of Friary Court. That's where it's always been made. And it's at that very window up here where Edward VIII brought Wallace Simpson to watch that announcement being made. And it's in here tomorrow he will be formally announced as king. Okay, let's keep going. We're going to head down now, down the Mall, and I'll take you down into Whitehall. They seem to have blocked off the road along here. They're probably just going to pedestrianise the Mall. This is technically a public road, but because of the thousands and thousands of people that are going to be arriving in the next couple of hours, as I'm sure there will be bouquets upon bouquets upon bouquets of flowers brought down here. Just still so surreal. Okay. So ordinarily I would take you through St. James's Park, but I'm going to follow the route of where the funeral will come. I'm just going to head right down here. Expected to leave from Buckingham Palace right here, and we'll follow the route of the Mall, which all the way down. And of course the van is in my way right now, but all the way down towards Admiralty Arch at the very end, and through that arch. I'm going to speed you up now for a minute, you guys. I'm going to head down around Whitehall and see what's happening down there. So as I'm right down here in the thick of the action, you guys, right on the Mall, I've just read there, it's quite difficult because it's difficult to keep up with the news as I'm just filming live streaming here. Oh, just filming for a video. Regretfully, and I think this is for security reasons, the signal is usually cut around the area. I've noticed that when I did the Platinum Jubilee. I was due to go live then as well, folks, so it's actually not my phone. Nobody had signal down there, so everybody is just pre-recording what's happening. But I have just heard that, as we expected, it is King Charles III and the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge shall now be referred to as the Duke and Duchess of Cornwall, the former title of Prince Charles and Camilla. So the consort Queen, King Charles III, and Queen Consort Camilla. I made incredible times. I'll try and get a better visual here for you. But what I want to do is kind of bring you around London as well and see the people that are just out on the street and what's happening around London tonight. Okay, we'll just resume here. It's a little dark around the place, so I will be heading into a much brighter area now. But as you can see, flying from Admiralty Arch is the flag at half-mast. I like to think that she has been already reunited with the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, and Her Majesty the Queen will have her funeral at Westminster Abbey. The Abbey will be closed to prepare for what no doubt will be one of the biggest events in history, and expected to be buried in St. George's Chapel in Windsor. Both videos you can see on the channel of exactly where. I have made reference out of respect for, well, the actual grave of King George VI, Queen Mother, Princess Margaret. I did not show you the side chapel where they are buried, but the Duke of Edinburgh was. I'm actually walking in between cyclists. I'm going to be annihilated in a minute. The Royal Vault is where Prince Philip was buried temporarily But he will be moved alongside the Queen, and they are due to be buried together in the same side chapel at St. George's Chapel of Her Majesty the Queen Mother, King George VI and Princess Margaret. It's nice that they're finally reunited, all of them together. So we're gonna just have a look down Whitehall to see the sights and sounds of what's really happening. Now this road is closed, so I'm gonna keep going. But this is where the route of Her Majesty's coffin will come from the palace through the arch here at the famous Trafalgar Square, and will come around this direction. So I mean, expect thousands and thousands of people to line the streets, and then it will head down Whitehall. This is the corridor of power. Home to the Cenotaph, 10 Downing Street, Horse Guards Parade, the Admiralty, the Cabinet Office, the Welsh Office, the Scottish Office, and of course number 10 Downing Street. I wonder if the new Prime Minister, two-day new Prime Minister, was prepared for such an amazing event. A sad occasion, but a very historic occasion. Shows you how busy it is around here, but there doesn't seem to be much activity yet. It's quite dark, so it's difficult to see. So, of course, in the next few days, I'm going to be bringing you everywhere of significance. And we will be hopefully speaking to a few people over the next few days as well to see how important the Queen was to them and how much of her life influenced hers. I guess nobody really knows how much she meant to certain people. It's incredible to think that everybody knows her. Everybody. Now we're shortly going to be approaching Horse Guards Parade, and these are all the government buildings along here, and I want to take you down to Downing Street, and then from there just show you Westminster Abbey and Westminster Hall, which will be significant to where she'll be laid in state, and of course where her funeral will take place. It's such a wet day as well. It's going to be a torrential downpour now shortly. But this is where we expect the streets will be lined with people. The funeral will be expected to take place in about 10 days' time, but I know that it's the royal family will make the announcement of those arrangements. That's kind of quite it, really, you guys. I'm a bit of a loss for words. Well, it's apart from traffic, the foot traffic here is quite quiet right now. So it's been a while since I came down here at night time. This is Horse Guards Parade. So it's still open. That's kind of bizarre. They always keep the gates locked at this time, but maybe it's open to let the public access through. And that is through there is where on my other tour you will have seen the personal security of the Queen. The Blues and Royals and the lifeguards, they usually accompanied her in ceremonial events, right down all of her ceremonial events, in fact. And no doubt I will be accompanying her on her final journey. To rest in the company of her husband, her mother, her father, and her sister, Princess Margaret. It probably wasn't the best idea at night time, but just have a look at Downing Street. Can't really see the flags flying at half-mast because it's quite dark. And still they'll come. I will be obviously videoing a lot more tomorrow, and stay tuned. It's most unlikely that my live streams will be able to be, well, it's most unlikely I'll be able to live stream, but I certainly will be recording every day, and we will get them up as quick as we can by the time they're edited and up, but we will try to amalgamate them. If I make mistakes, it's highly likely. We most likely will just post these videos without editing, because that's the only way I can get them to you in pretty much real time. So please forgive me, and if I do obviously make mistakes, it is human to err, and no doubt you will all give me a firm talking to if I get a couple of dates wrong or events wrong, but a lot of work coming up for the next few days. Something I'm more than happy to do, because this is the biggest event in history in my lifetime. So there's Downing Street. I think there's too much happening here. All this seems to be quite quiet. No doubt the Prime Minister has already made her speech. The press are still there though, all reporting. If you can just about make out up the top there. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to give up on filming right now. It's too dark. Just bear with me. It's very quiet here at the moment. And this is Parliament, ladies and gents, at night time. Now I'm going to sign off. It's pretty pointless doing any more tonight, but I promise you I will have you right over here behind the trees of the Abbey for all the relevant events, where she'll be laid in state here in Westminster Hall in the centre. Sinead signing out with Free Tours by Foot London, 8:10. I will talk to you tomorrow, folks. Hope in the event that this live stream that I didn't have success with, this will kind of bring you up to date on what's happening here in London tonight.